So next I call upon Dr. Aravindan to present the study on sentinel nodes in endometrial cancer.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Aravindan Nar, Executive Fellow from Manipal Hospital and Dr. Somshekar sir. So coming to our study, we did a study on distribution of the sentinel nodes in carcinoma endometrium. So as we know, with growing epidemic of obesity, the number of the trend of incidence of endometrial carcinoma is on increasing. The treatment for early carcinoma endometrium is simple hysterectomy and bilateral salpingolectomy and peritoneal cytology and some sort of lymph node assessment. So this TH and BSO can be done by open method or laparoscopic, robotic or vaginal hysterectomy. But minimal invasive approach is standard because of low complications rate, low cost ultimately and better quality of life. And we know that even in earlier stages, in stage 1 and stage 2, 10% of patients will have lymphatic spread, and this lymph node status is most important predictor for survival and also helps in post-operative treatment planning. So this pelvic and parotic lymphadenectomy has been included in staging criteria since 1988. But this systemic lymphadenectomy is not without complications. It can lead to lower lymphedema, nerve injuries, arteriovenous thromboembolism, or injuries and need for blood transfusion or lymphocele. So these are some of the studies where minimal invasive surgery for pelvic lymphadenectomy has been studied and the complications involved. So the lesser version of the lymphadenectomy is sentinel lymph node biopsy. So sentinel lymph node is the first node draining the primary site or organ of interest, and it's an accepted way of assessment of the lymphatic spread in case of some solid malignancies like melanoma, CA breast or vulval carcinoma. So the same results have been extrapolated for the endometrial cancer. The issue here is the complexity of the lymphatic drainage of uterus. It can drain into the internal iliac, external iliac, common iliac, or though rarely para-aortic lymph nodes without pelvic being positive. The techniques, it can be done by the three tracers can be used, that is technetium 99, blue dye or ICG. So for the ease and generalizability, the ICG with near infrared imaging has been superior, especially in the obese population. And there is also controversy regarding where to inject, either cervical or hysteroscopic guided into the endometrium or myometrium. Cervical route has been associated with easy reproducibility and accessibility, so most commonly followed. So the Da Vinci system has integrated the fluorescent imaging, that is 5-play technology in itself. This provides a real-time identification of the anatomical structures using near-infrared imaging. So when the ICG dye is injected, it binds to the plasma proteins and emits the infrared rays, which can, when excited by a laser light, which can be captured in 5-play mode, and the dissection can be done. So this is an overall overview of the 5-play technology, where the fluorescent dye is excited by the laser light, and the reflected infrared rays can be seen through the robotic camera. This is the picture showing the sentinel node and the lymphatics. So coming to our study, the aim of our study is to identify the use of ICG in endometrial cancer and map the location of these sentinel nodes. It started from the time we got the new robot from August 2015 to May 2019 for 4 years. Around 50 patients have been studied. It included all the women with biopsy proven early endometrial carcinoma and who doesn't have any contraindication for minimal invasive surgery and no allergy for the ICG. So the ICG was diluted with 10 ml of sterile water, and 1.25 ml of ICG was taken, and 0.5 ml we prefer to give through the insulin syringe. 0.5 ml each of ICG was given, half of it superficially and other of deep on either side, that is 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock position. This is the image showing how we give for ICG after the insertion. After taking the suture lines for the V-care application, we inject the ICG dye. Then we follow the MSKCC algorithm. This is a 5-play mode activated. This is a small video showing how we do the sentinel lymph node biopsy. Once the docking is done, we activate the 5-play mode and see for the lymphatics and lymph nodes. If they are not visible, we will cut the round ligament first, followed by opening the broad ligament, and then the pararectal or paravesical space is opened, and then the eliminating lymph nodes and the draining lymphatics are seen, and they can be dissected and sent for frozen analysis. Then the dissection we do activating to the white light. So the added benefit of using the sentinel node is the location. If the sentinel node is present in the atypical sites like subaortic or presacral node or along the uterine artery, which would have missed during the routine lymph node dissection, then we send all the sentinel nodes for the frozen section, which will undergo routine hematoxylin and eosin staging. If the nodes comes positive, complete lymph node dissection was done, and if there are any lymph nodes, visible lymph nodes which are not sentinel also, they are removed and sent as a non-sentinel node. If the nodal disease is detected, no further processing of those nodes is needed, and complete lymph node dissection of that site is done. If the node comes negative, further those sentinel nodes undergo ultra staging with additional sections of every 50 microns, and ISC staining with AE1 and AE3 are performed. And if micrometastasis is observed also, there is no need of complete lymphadenectomy on the site, and only the adjuvant treatment will take care. So this study was approved by ethics committee, and we collected all the data, and statistical analysis was done. Coming to the results of our study, the age distribution, total number of patients studied in around 50 patients. Mean age was 60, the range from even 35 years to 88-year-old females. The presenting complaint, most common was bleeding per vaginum, and only 10% of them presented with asymptomatic with only ultrasound or in imaging showing a thickened endometrium. Most commonly CE-CT abdomen was done, and the CA-125 average was 23, and it didn't help us in deciding the treatment. Only few patients had more than 75, and in them high lymph node dissection was done. So post-operative histopathology, around 15% of the patients had complex hyperplasia with atypia, and 70% with endometrial adenocarcinoma, 38 patients being endometrioid, and 4 other than non-endometrioid type. In all the patients, we could identify the sentinel lymph nodes at least on one side, and bilateral dissection was possible in 95%. In another 5%, one side was not able to see, and on that side complete lymph node dissection was done. Para-aortic dissection was done only in high risk patients, around 30%, and lymph node positivity was seen in 8%, and sensitivity of the test was 100%. The mean time taken for sentinel lymph node was around 15 minutes. This is the slide showing the location of the lymph nodes, the most common site being external iliac, followed by common iliac, then internal iliac and obturator lymph nodes, and in 21 patients, para-aortic lymph node was seen as a sentinel node. And coming to the positivity, in 3 patients, the common iliac and internal iliac group of lymph nodes showed positivity, and 2 patients, para-aortic lymph nodes were positive. And in atypical sites, 4 patients, sentinel node was found in presacral or subaortic area, and 2 along the course of uterine artery, though none of these found to be positive for malignancy in our series. This is a stratification according to the risk classification that according to the ESMO. We had among risk category 14 patients with low risk who didn't have any lymph node metastasis, and among all the sentinel nodes, and intermediate grade 17 patients were there, and one of them showed positivity for lymph node, and high grade among 19 patients, 3 showed to be positive. Conclusion: ICT based localization of sentinel node in endometrial cancer is technically feasible, and identification is possible in 100% of the patients, and bilateral identification is possible in 95%, and cervical injection at 9 and 3 o'clock position showed detection rate in all the patients, and it avoids unnecessary lymphadenectomy in 95% of the patients, and ICG identify the route of spread of endometrial cancers and real sites of possible metastasis. It is safe. This is a safe alternative to the standard lymphadenectomy, and we can avoid the related complications, and considered as standard of care. Thank you.
So can I ask, what is the protocol followed for sentinel node mapping?
Ma'am, we follow the MSKCC algorithm, ma'am. First, after injection in 3 o'clock, initially we used to inject 1 ml, but it used to stain quite a bit lot in the vault. So once injected, in 5 minutes we will dock the robot. After robotic docking, first thing what we do is taking the peritoneal cytology, and then we see activate the 5-flame mode and see for the fluorescence. If it's visible in that area, only that area peritoneum is opened and sent for lymph nodes for harvested. If it's not visible, we will just cut the round ligament, and then broad ligament was opened and lymph nodes were dissected. And in most, if it's high risk, we will see for the para-aortic also.
You mentioned frozen section,
Ma'am, yes ma'am. We send routinely for frozen section.
which is not part of MSKCC protocol.
Our protocol is always through frozen because there is no evidence that in sentinel node positive vomiting lymph nodes if they happen.
I asked him what is the protocol. No, I asked him what is the protocol. He said MSKCC. So I said MSKCC does not have a frozen as a part of protocol. So it's a deviation of MSKCC protocol. And in frozen, you're doing ultra staging. And how much time will it take for the frozen to come?
Around 20 minutes, ma'am.
Including ultra staging.
Yes, ma'am.
So one half of frozen is used for a node will be used for finding, or entire node is ultra staged.
Same we use. We have published 4 patients on that. 2 oncopathologists, 1 node, 16 section. We don't do micro. The microtomy set at 2 micron. So we have 16 sections based on the nodes on both sides. Depending on the node side, average node is 7 mm in our study. So both oncopathologists see the slides together and they report. In that we have 2.5% false negative rate in missing a micrometastasis. If node is positive, as of today, we always do systematic pelvic para-aortic, because unlike cervical cancer, I don't believe that RT can sterilize. Huh? Yeah, 2 micron, yeah, 2 mm. So micrometastasis we don't treat because there is no relevance. So anything which is picked up is a more than micro. So we always do systematic pelvic para-aortic. I don't believe RT can sterilize those patients.
So that people differ, but so I understand your entire node for all breast and endometriums undergo 2 millimeter sections.
Microtomy set at 2 millimeter, so you may get between 8 to 16 section of one node seen by 2 oncopathologists. That is the CAP guideline for SLNB breast. We follow the same. But the beauty is the node positivity rate is very less. So those patients, because the problem in endometrial CA is we over-treat low risk, under-treat high risk, and we erroneously believe node positivity can be treated by chemo-RT like CS cervix without any evidence. All are retrospective data, no 5-year follow-up.
Which we don't have evidence either way.
That's why it is not there. So I don't want to under-treat the high-risk patients.